The first game of spring training in Viera, Florida. The team popped out of the dugout in Washington uniforms, and over this clanky PA system they played "The Boys Are Back in Town." And I was not expecting it, and I got chills.
It's kind of amazing that the town didn't have a baseball team and hadn't had one for 33 years, and it just kind of fell out of the sky when they moved from Montreal. RFK wasn't ready to host a baseball team. It was mayhem that off season. They were trying to prepare a town to have baseball that hadn't had baseball for more than 3 decades. And everything kind of built toward that night, April 14th, 2005.
Back here at RFK Stadium, President George W. Bush right now is throwing out the ceremonial first pitch.
The town just went nuts.
And that park that night was packed. It was kind of crazy from there because they really, like I said, they didn't have any stars, and they started winning these bizarre games. They won all these one-run games. In June, they had this 10-game winning streak, got them into first place.
And it was a team that baseball people knew couldn't keep it up.
The energy that DC provided, this group of players that were really kind of cast-offs, that had it played some sort of role, but it couldn't last. They just weren't good enough.
But that to me showed how crazy the town goes when it falls in love.
In '06, the Lerners win the right to buy the team from Major League Baseball.
The Nationals did not run their operation particularly well for the first 2 or 3 years they were here.
Well, this ball's not that close, and Gan's got a very hot temper.
It was a hard thing for those guys to go through in '07 and then into '08 when they really fielded very, very bad teams. From the players' perspective, they were ready for something new, something that they felt like, wow, this is our clubhouse, and that's what they got when the park opened in '08.
But that first night you looked out and said, this is here to stay. And Washington did it right.
They were on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball to open the season.
Belted, deep left center.
And then Ryan Zimmerman's walk-off home run, giving a bad team a perfect first game.
A happy ending for the Nationals in the first game in their beautiful new ballpark. Ryan Zimmerman with a game in.
I remember Zimmerman saying, we're sick of being the second-rate team, and this is kind of a new beginning. It didn't turn out that season, but he's kind of the guy who was like the glue from the past. He was there in '05 through this new era.
He's trying to get away from his teammates before they beat him up.
One of the things that's hard to remember now that the team is so successful is just how permanently it seemed like they were going to be bad.
You said, is this a never-ending tradition of being abysmal?
There was one day they took the field with the names misspelled on their jerseys. Their opening day pitcher in 2008 was this guy Odalis Perez, who quickly ran himself out of baseball by refusing to show up to the team the next year. Their number 3 hitter at various times was this guy Lastings Millage, showed up late, I believe, for opening day and got benched. Elijah Dukes was their other potential star. He failed to pay child support a couple times and scared the hell out of his teammates. To think about how the team has progressed from then until now is shocking. The first sign of hope came probably when the team in the mid-summer of 2009 managed to sign Steven Strasburg, the #1 pick.
In 2010, when I first got onto the beat with the Nationals, they were coming off a season in which they lost 102 games. They still had a lot of veterans who were not happy to be there. It was really a team where players came because nobody else wanted them. Pretty much all of the talk for the first few months of the season was, when will Steven Strasburg make his Major League debut? So finally, on June 8th, he made his first start.
First pitch of a new era. Fastball a little bit inside.
And then Strasburg basically tore the roof off any expectations, striking out 14 batters, which is still a Nationals record.
Nobody ever pitched better than he did that night. And then to out-produce any debut anyone had ever had was not just unique for Washington, that was a unique baseball event.
The career of Steven Strasburg starts with a 1-2-3 inning.
The 2012 Nationals have obviously been defined by a lot of different players and a lot of different things. You have this great pitching staff, this offense that has sort of come together. You have a lot of rookies who have helped fill in through all these injuries that they've absorbed. But the one night that still stands out the most was a game they lost.
Bryce Harper for the first time running onto a major league field.
And the Nationals could not get anything going against Chad Billingsley until suddenly in the 7th inning, Harper just hits this rocket of a double off the center field wall.
That'll short hop the wall, and Bryce Harper digs his way into his first major league hit.
The night just had so much drama, and even though they lost, just watch it for nine innings. You couldn't take your eye off of Harper.
It's something that, at 19, I think that really at first just injected kind of life into the team.
His debut has been a daily emergence as people see all of the skills he has, and it's shown us that he might be even better than they thought because he can play a position nobody expected that he could play.
Early on, you could tell teams have qualities about them. They can come back and win dramatic games. They can pull out of really kind of dire situations. And kind of early on, I think within the first 2 weeks, they had a walk-off home run. And just from there, you could tell this team, and in a really unquantifiable way, had that quality.
The reason that 2012 happened this year and not in 13 or 14 is Davy Johnson's ability to make the team see what it could be, and that enabled it to become that thing far faster than anybody imagined.
They went from this team that really was just sort of there to play because they were getting paid money to do it, to a team that walked around with a certain air, a certain swagger that they thought they were going to win every time they took the field.
I think we're going to now find out what kind of baseball town we have. This is the 8th year since baseball returned, and it's really hard to replace 33 years with no team.
It's far more consuming than it ever was before, and people, I think, live and die by every loss.
Baseball in October is crueler than that, and so fans should take pleasure in the whole season, judge by the whole season, and then tolerate whatever happens in October, and if it's good, love it.